Hi. So I read someone's mind who watched my last video and said, I wish Tina would wear red. So I'm wearing red. I aim to please. What can I say? There's no one here. I'm Tina, and this is the news that didn't make the news. I should call it Welcome to the Improv. That might be a better title because, as you know, this is not rehearsed or scripted anymore by request. I shouldn't have turned the music off. I could have kept dancing while I was waiting for someone to show up. I swear, as a Scorpio, I honestly am trying to work on my patience, but so far, it's not happening. So I'm just going to start because that's what I do. Welcome to Evening at the Improv. I'm your host, Tina, and you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And you're not the only one, because I also never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But I have been asked by Spirit to talk about a couple of things this evening, so I'm going to do that. What does it really look like when we internally and personally start to change our lives? It looks like a mess initially. And no matter how much of a beautiful mess it may end up being, most people in your life are not a fan of you changing. But there's one thing you should know about Scorpios. We are always in the constant mode of change. So anyone that's known me for a while, I guess I would say, should probably be used to the fact that I'm constantly changing. Okay, what's going on here? Sorry. Hi, guys. There's two people here anyway. So, yes. I'm having all kinds of weird light stuff going on. It's not because I'm ascending without you. It's because, you see this? It's the crack in my phone that just keeps getting bigger. So tonight, if I can find my voice, I'm going to talk about manifestation, the power of manifestation, the power of you yourself, and the power and transformative change that happens in our lives on this ascension path. Some people are willing to go with the flow here. Some of your friends and family are willing to stick beside you throughout these many magnificent changes. Some people don't choose to stay by you. What I've noticed so far is people not choosing to stay beside me at this time. However, that's not the reason I came here. I want to talk about the power that we have as individuals to change not only our lives, but our outside surroundings and our view of the world, and how our internal changes and our view of the world changes everything in our surroundings and in our world. And that's the biggest reason we see so much profound change going on in the world right now, is because we are changing ourselves. So, the power of you, transforming yourself and your life, no matter what anyone else outside of you may think or feel about those changes. The biggest part of this that I'm seeing across the board, and the reason that Spirit wants me to bring this up and to talk about this right now, is because of this card and the tarot deck. It is the Magician. And the Magician is the person incarnate in a physical body who learns to use the four directions, the four elements, everything within the natural world to work on manifesting what it is they feel they need in their lives in this moment. Now, on the Ascension Path, it's impossible for us to be on the Ascension Path without making monumental changes. And one of the first changes that really starts to come in for people is learning how to manifest. The first stage of that can be very ugly and very burdensome and very tiresome, because when we realize our power to manifest, it's not because we've drawn in this wonderful relationship or a new house or a new car. It's because in a lower energetic form, we've realized that the words that come out of our mouth, how we speak about ourselves, our lives, what's going on in the world, how we speak about other people and our own personal life situation, is creating every moment that we live in. So when manifestation starts for us, we start realizing that we are having negative people or negative situations, or we're stuck in a negative energetic place because of the words that have come out of our own mouth, and because the thoughts that have come from our own mind. And so a big part of this ascension is dropping into the heart, dropping into the soul. I keep talking about this and keep talking about this and keep talking about this, because it's so important for us to get out of our mind and get out of our mental state and really watch our words and really watch our thoughts. And sometimes people think that you need some kind of complicated spiritual message or spiritual understanding to change your life. But the only thing you really need to do is change your words about yourself and your life, and change your words about other people, and change how you think about other people. You can't change how you feel about people and situations, but you can change your thoughts, and you can definitely change the stories that you tell about yourself and your life. Now, after we get out of the awkward phase, which is I've realized that my own thoughts and my own words and my own self-descriptive narrative of me is pulling in things that are not necessarily pretty, that I don't necessarily like. That's that's when we really start pulling in the energy of the four elements and the four directions, and realizing our own personal creative power in manifesting our life the way that we want to live our lives. What I want to talk about, what is so important, and it keeps coming up over and over again in different forms and different variations with different people in my life. So when we're talking about being the Master Magician card from the tarot, we're talking about the power of creating in this very now moment. So how that gets perceived by other people. Some people that you know, your family and friends, maybe coworkers, will perceive that as, this person's weird or out there, they have some, strange beliefs, or they don't think it's true. That's the lighter side of it. I've noticed a lot of this, however, when you start really focusing on your words and your thoughts and creating very powerful things that serve you, people can interpret that magician energy as you being a manipulator. She's doing something to me. She put a spell on me. She's doing dark magic, things like that. A lot of people perceive this. If they're thinking about you, someone's thinking about you, they think you're doing that on purpose. It's so important that we continue to be in our own creator mode, regardless of what people think outside of ourselves, transforming our lives and our personal reality, no matter what someone outside of us thinks. Because again, as the magician, you're this amazing, magical, wonderful creator that many people will see as someone that's the master manipulator. Now, anybody that's been on the Ascension Path for a while knows better. So if you have friends that are on your same wavelength, they're not going to perceive you as a master manipulator. They're going to perceive you as a magician, which just means they're going to perceive you as someone with the ability to create, the ability to manifest what it is that you truly desire in your life. So when you start manifesting, people will definitely recognize this in you. It's just about what their perception is of it. Are they perceiving you as someone that has learned that to can control your mind, to let go of your mind? Or are they perceiving you as someone that is manipulating them? Now, the big thing about that, it is, for me, it has nothing to do with how I create or how I manifest on a personal level. The reason the person is experiencing that or viewing that or feeling that as a manipulation is because they're tapped into the energy of manipulation instead of the creative energy of manifestation. And that's such an important thing for you guys to know. Again, someone's going to perceive your manifestation and your creation abilities by the energetic field that they are connected to. And it's really hard, I understand, for us not to worry about this. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but so important for us not to worry about the perception of other people. And when you get to the advanced stages of manifestation, it's difficult. People, places, and situations have fallen out of my life at a rate that is almost hard to keep up with. So I thought that was a really important thing. And again, Spirit was just nudging me to discuss the manifestation, the magician versus the manipulator. We're asked at this time to let these amazing transformations in our life that want to happen. Things, people, places, and things in our life that need to fall away from us or be transformed in some way, that we allow and invite that transformation to happen for us. Because when we hold on to those things, we hold on to an energetic field. If I'm holding on to a person that doesn't resonate in my field of creation, that means I also am holding on to the field that they resonate with, which takes me out of the field of my personal ability to create. I want to talk about loving yourself and loving other people. It seems like a really simple concept. I've been a person who's been about self-love, been about this journey of going within for as long as I can remember. 2012 was a really big change for me. In 2012, I stopped walking and I started jogging, I started running, I started kind of skateboarding, dancing, hula hooping, whatever. Not because I was really wanting to change the shape of my body or how I perceive my body or how other people perceive my body, but because if you're someone that exercises on a regular basis, the positive effects from that are outside of any other change that you can make for yourself. Getting in touch with nature, being outside. I love having conversations with the trees. I've been talking to trees since I was a child. And it's funny because I had something really amazing that happened to me. I think it was around the end of September, beginning of October. I was laying in bed and I was really, really distraught. I was really having a hard time with this massive amount of change. And I started crying and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let myself like fully cry. For some reason, I didn't want to allow that to happen. And then within 5 minutes, I was just sobbing and bawling. And I heard this voice start talking to me, and I was kind of taken aback by that because my guides, off-planet beings, etc., had stopped talking to me. It's been almost 2 years now. So when I heard a voice, I was a little bit startled. But this voice was telling me that everything was going to be okay. It was just a transformation to allow it to happen. We love you. And I said, who are you? You know, who's talking to me? My guides have been gone for a year and a half. I don't understand where this voice is coming from. And the voice said, it's the tree talking to you from outside your window. And I'm like, the tree outside my window? There's a lot of trees outside my window. And the tree said, oh, I'm the tree has a direct shot to your crying in bed. That's the tree that's talking to you. And I looked out across the tree. This is a tree that's several blocks from me, one that I've never touched, one that I've never talked to. And I thought, you know, thank you for consoling me, but I'm curious why you're the tree to console me when you're probably the only tree within an 8-mile radius that I haven't ever talked to or touched. And the tree said to me, yes, but you've touched and spoken to every tree since you were a child. And the whole tree family of planet Earth knows that you're the tree whisperer. So it doesn't matter that you've never talked directly to me or touched me directly, but the trees were consoling me. And I thought that that was a really beautiful thing. I'm super, super in touch with nature. And when I walk, I'm just walking down the street, putting my hand on every tree, talking to everything, telling the trees how beautiful they are. I'm very, very interactive with nature. That gives a lot of love back to me as self. It doesn't have to be love from another person. I'm very much in love with the trees. I've been writing about the trees for a couple years also. What I want to talk about is that journey of self-love. And I thought, you know, prior to the last 2 years that I did love myself because I was taking really good care of myself. And then I met someone that shattered my illusion of self-love. And I couldn't figure out why it was so painful in losing that other person when that other person decided to walk away. And that was, and it took me a couple months to realize this. But, you know, when we would talk about music, for example, we talked about music. And my thing about music is I've been in so many household situations and so many relationships where someone only liked one kind of music. So the schizophrenic musical taste that is in my heart is very near and dear to me. And I've never ever found someone that also had that same like crazy, just in every genre of music. That was a huge, huge deal to me. And so, what I realized in falling in love with this person was that it was just looking in the mirror. It was the love of trees. It was the love of music. It was the love of different kind of foods. It was just the love of travel, the love of culture. It wasn't about I love you and you love me. It was about everything inside me that I love, you love about me, and all the things that you love about the world, I love about the world. So like in every conversation, there was just this exasperation or magnification of the love that we had for music and for culture and diversity and languages. And it was incredible. And so when I no longer had that from that other person, I've been working for a really long time to how do I get that kind of love that I experienced in that situation or in that relationship? How do I have that one-on-one with myself? And it's really, I gotta say, this has been absolutely the biggest struggle in my life, without a doubt. I'm kind of learning now how to acclimate to it, but it even took me months to realize, because it wasn't about the way the other person looked. It wasn't any of those things. Like in conversation, for example, when I'm talking to someone or making a video, I carefully choose my words. Because I know my words are creating things, I carefully choose the creation of my sentences. I carefully choose, even though I'm no longer scripting my videos like I used to, I'm carefully choosing those words. I'm carefully choosing those sentences, knowing that is in those choices I am manifesting and creating. And then to be in a conversation with someone else that so carefully chose their words, I realized that something about myself that I really loved was my careful choosing of words. So that was just amazing. And I realized, I only know one language, and I'm getting ready to start learning a second language because I love words so much. It sounds really insane, but just the way someone else talked to me, or just the way someone really thought about the presentation of what they were saying, and in the back and forth sharing of this was beautiful. So I'm learning now how to do those things, how to recapture those things, and how to create those things for myself. Because I realized that the love expansion that happened in this connection was all about the love I had for myself, all about the love that I see in people, all about the love that I see in travel or music or culture. It was all about essentially loving love and loving the feeling of sharing that with somebody else, where you have all these things in common and there's this beautiful natural flow that is just so even and so beautiful, and such a beautiful creation. So I wanted to talk about that. That seems like a silly, insignificant thing, but I've realized in the last couple months that to me, in my life right now, how I speak and how someone else speaks to me, there's not anything that's more important than the creation of that, than the power of love that brings between two people, is their communication, and how spoken language is such a great communication of love. And I think that's why when I meet other people that musically are all over the place in every genre, it's like, they really have an appreciation for other people's view on love, or other people's view on heartache, or other people's view on culture. It's just a beautiful, beautiful experience to have. I was loving every minute of that. So again, working really hard to recapture that in myself and not rely on somebody else outside of myself to give me those things. It's hard when you have something, right? It's here and then it's gone. I'm here, but I'm really gone. I don't know. So that was it. And the final thing that I want to talk about is this transformation that we're going through has to be in such a state of balance, you know. There is a separation and a polarity, I think, in our personal expression of how we perceive things as good and bad. Like lust is always bad. No, it's not. Passion is always bad. No, it's not. And I have to be in this angelic, you know, channeled higher space all the time. No, you're not. You're in a human body having a human experience. And there are parts and pieces of that polarity that are beautiful. And you never know the expression of love until you have felt the opposite thing. So tempering our emotions, right? Tempering our relationships, even our relationship with self, being very tempered, being very grounded and balanced in how we express our love to ourselves and to other people. I had a conversation with a group of 7 light beings in 2018, August 2018. And they came to me for a very specific reason that isn't important. But I ended up talking to them, and they ended up relaying 7 pages of information to me. I ended up asking them questions. That may be something that I share at some point. But what blew me away was this. When I asked them why they were so interested, why they had come to me and asked me to open the 7 portals to the 7 universes. I didn't know there were 7 portals to 7 universes, right? But that's what they asked me to do. And then so I went through this process of vetting them out and making statements and things like this. But at the end of the 7 pages of conversation, I asked them, why open the 7 portals so all this angelic energy, all these light beings, all these multidimensional Merkabas can come in and assist planet Earth in the transformation to the side of freedom and the light? Why do you want to help us so much? And they said, humanity is the most beautiful thing we've ever witnessed. And they said, we know that sometimes when we're watching you or when we're watching other people, that they know it. Some people know it on a less cognitive level. Like there's someone here, there's another energy here with me, and it's not always comfortable. But I asked them why they were doing that, because that's an experience I've been having since I was a child. When I asked them why they were doing that, they said, it's not anything malicious or of will intent, but they said there are a group of light beings, original incarnations, souls that have been around for millions of years. This was not something I knew either, that had never chosen to incarnate in the physical body. And when they like to observe us, when we can feel their energy, is when we are doing something that brings us extreme, powerful happiness to be in a physical body. They get a lot of joy out of that. And they explained that, like, if you're dancing or hula hooping or someone is surfing and they're like in this high vibration and this ultimate state of joy, since they've never incarnated, made the choice to incarnate into a physical body, that gives them a kind of happiness, a sense of joy, like what it would be like. It's like they're experiencing secondhand by watching us the joy that it is to be in a physical body. And I was like, wow, that was not what I was expecting at all, you know. So that was really beautiful to hear that those beings like to view us, spy on us, however you want to look at that, when we are in state of joy by moving our physical body and using this avatar as a joyous receptacle for all things that bring us love and bring us joy. So I thought that was such a cool experience to have. I wanted to share that with you. Thank you guys for watching. I know that there have been comments and I can't look at that because I get too distracted by that. I will go back and look at those later, but I'm glad to see that there are comments there because the last 4 or 5, how many live videos I've done, even though I set it to public, once I start to go live and people start to comment, it then switches over to private video and kicks everyone out, not only from commenting, but also from watching. So thank you for being here on this planet at this time. And the spirits of our ancestors, our guides, and the beautiful angelic forces that watch over and protect us want us to remember how grateful we should be of having an incarnation in a physical body where we can use our body, our avatar, to express love in a physical way and express joy in a physical way. I was in a completely altered state of gratitude for my physical body after having that conversation with those light beings. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you as always for supporting me. Thank you for liking and sharing my videos. I love you. And until next time, bye.